Hello there, Gemini. Welcome to DragonTaleTarot. My name is Ariel, and this is your reading for 2020. This is an overview reading, so it's meant to give you some major themes that are going to be happening this year, and we're going to also be getting into the tarot and giving an overview for each month of the year. So I'm really excited to do this reading for you. This is a similar layout to what I do for a lot of my clients, and it's always like a really popular one. A lot of people even come in from out of town at this time of the year to get this style of reading that I do for the New Year overview. So I'm very happy to have you back. If you're returning to the channel, if you're new here, thank you so much for coming by. And I just want to get a few quick notes out of the way before we start the reading. This is a general reading. It's not going to resonate with every single Gemini out there. So if the messages do resonate with you, they are meant for you. If they do not resonate with you, kick them on out to another Gemini out there. This will mostly correspond to Gemini Sun, Moon, Venus, and rising signs. Also, all Gemini cross-watchers are welcome to join us here today. If you're interested in any information down below about personal readings or the card decks, the names of them that I use, it's all going to be in the description box. And I also do invite you to reach out and click the subscribe button, join the Dragon family, and also give it that dragon claw up by clicking the like button and let me know that you enjoy this content. Alright, so got that out of the way. What I always do with all of my readings is I'm both an astrologer and a tarot reader, so I am going to give you a few quick guidelines about, some of your personal astrology before we get into the cards, because this is a beginning of a brand new year. I absolutely love, getting into a new kind of astrological pocket planner. If you are interested in understanding more about astrology and the daily movements of the planets, I always recommend getting something like this. It's going to have an ephemeris in the back. It's going to have, like moon phases and planet movements through the day. And so that's always a great thing to have if you're more interested in, just understanding the planetary movements and how they affect us day in and day out. So, Gemini, I'm not going to get too deep into it because I always go over some of the, current planetary energies in all of my readings that I do throughout each month. But the things that I'm going to point out for you are actually going to be the Mercury retrogrades that happen throughout 2020, because Gemini, you are ruled by Mercury. Mercury is all about our communication, our thoughts, the way we think, the way we express ourselves. And so, that is a very important planet for you. And you're a very communicative sign. So, looking at the Mercury retrogrades, we're going to have 3 of them in 2020. Each of them are going to be in water signs. So the first retrograde that we have is going to be starting February the 17th. That will be the first retrograde of the year, and it lasts until March the 9th, and that's going to be in Pisces. So that's our first water sign Mercury retrograde, so you can believe that will be very emotional, magical, dreamy, but confusing, no doubt. The second Mercury retrograde that occurs will be in June, and that's going to start June 18th, and that's going to be in the sign of Cancer. That one will last until July the 11th. So yeah, Cancer is all about, home, family. There's going to be a lot of review around those areas of life. And then our last retrograde of the year is going to take place in the sign of Scorpio, and it will start on October 14th and last until November 2nd. So what I would say for you, Gemini, this year having, water sign Mercury retrogrades, it means that Mercury is actually going to be lasting and staying longer in those water signs than any other signs. So I would say that this is a year of more emotional, heartfelt communication. It's like the head and the heart have to meet. You will feel more emotional. People will be more emotionally driven. Not the whole year, of course, because Mercury will be in other signs as well throughout the year. But because it's having those retrogrades only in water signs, we will be spending more time with them in the water signs, because once Mercury goes, retrograde all the way back, and then it goes direct, and it has to go back through there. So it ends up staying in that water sign a lot longer than in the other ones. So on that note, Gemini, let's go ahead and get into your cards. I'm going to be pulling some major themes from a bunch of different oracle decks, and I will put the names of those decks below if you're interested in looking at those yourself. And then we're going to get into the tarot, and we're going to do a couple of cards for each month of the year just to give you an overview of what's coming up. Dear angels, guardians, beings of light, ancestors, helpers, and healers, please be with the Sun, Moon, Venus, and rising sign of Gemini as we do their 2020 overview reading. Please protect their energy as well as mine throughout the session, and please bring through clear, accurate messages for their highest good. Thank you so much. Ooh, Gemini. So the first card I pulled for you is a numerology card. And so this is a number that will be important for you throughout 2020. The number 74 corresponding to nature. So nature, getting out and being close to nature, close to the earth's energies is very important for you this year. The green is a very healing, also brings in that purple. So it's a high vibration kind of energy. This is like connecting you to the heart chakra, to the tune of nature, but it's also connecting you to that crown chakra so that, you know, you can bring those messages in from the crown all the way to the heart. The 7 and the 4 add up to an 11, and then the 11 adds up to a 2. So I think that's also very interesting the way that that works, because, you know, 7 and 4, you know, respectively, to me, that's the Chariot card and also the Emperor card in the tarot. So to me, that's about a lot of direction, leadership, nurturing, and then adding up to an 11, which is a master number, and then to a 2. And it's beautiful because you're a duality kind of sign, you know, the two twins. But yeah, the more that you can be connected to nature, to earth spirits, you may even be doing some nonprofit work or something that helps, you know, the environment, helps, you know, the planet in some way. I also can feel that for some Geminis out there. So now we're going to pull a guardian angel card. We're going to see what your angels, what your you know, guides are wanting to bring to you this year, what you should ask for when you talk to them or invoke them. So we're going to see who comes up for you. Oh, look at that. So, very interesting, Gemini, the angel of positivity. To me, yes, this has been a very challenging year, this past year of 2019. Going into 2020, we're moving through quite a lot of that. We have an abundance of Capricorn planets right now going on, Gemini, and those are mostly concentrated in your universal 8th house of your chart, which is the Scorpio house. So it really is, I mean, you've been going through this kind of like journey through the dark, and this card shows it's like the light at the end of the tunnel, right? The rainbow is in the sky, you can finally see, and you know, it's like even if you don't know, you know, your angels, your guardians are walking you through that dark tunnel, that dark night of the soul, you know, getting you to the light at the end of it. Interesting enough, Taurus also had this card come up, the same angel. So very interesting for any Geminis that have, you know, an important Taurus in your life, or if you have Taurus in your chart, that could also be a important connection there as well. So now I'm going to pull a Sacred Destiny card. This is very much to do with your particular life path energy that's coming up for 2020, what that kind of manifestation is going to be, what kind of personal gift or talent of yours that you should be using, etc. So let's see what comes up for you there. Oh, Gemini. What a beautiful, beautiful card for one thing. That is absolutely gorgeous with the swan under the stars, and the keyword is stillness. I think that's actually really appropriate for you, like we talked about just a moment ago. You know, with so much activating in your 8th house of Scorpio, and Scorpio being kind of a, you know, mysterious, more introverted sign that doesn't always reveal everything that they're thinking. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's just so intense, and we will have a Mercury retrograde in Scorpio this year too. I think this also speaks to the fact that your ruling planet Mercury will be in a lot of water signs. This is a more emotional kind of connection. You know, it's like the swan to me, it's like it connects your element of air along with the water, right? You know, so it's that connection. Like I said, it's got to be, you know, communication is of a very emotional nature. It's not just, you know, endless chatter and the mind, you know, just going. And for Geminis out there that really, you know, have been experiencing a lot of anxiety or a lot of excessive worry or thoughts, this is also a beautiful keyword to say that it's time to embrace stillness. It's time to make sure that you take, you know, real time, like a real meditative period out, you know, of your day or of your week, you know, here and there, whenever it really needs to happen, or when you have the time to just, you know, be very mindful and very focused about the way your thoughts are moving, so that they don't, you know, just really make you unhappy and really put you in a negative place, because we all do it. We absolutely do. We all have those thoughts that just go crazy. So yeah, that's a beautiful card. So now we're going to pull one from the Hidden Worlds. This is going to be all about your inner state of being, the place that your soul is kind of meant to reside in throughout this year of 2020. This is also where your spirits are leading you, your guides are leading you, you may not be aware of. So let's see what comes up for you here, Gemini. Oh my goodness. So Gemini, there's some real interesting stuff going on here between you and Taurus. At this point, I would say definitely take a peek at the Taurus reading for 2020, because there could be some things in there that are for you too. They had this same card as well, the number 44, completion, returning home. You know, this is a life between lifetimes, a loving welcome, you know, a transition of some kind between this world and the next. You know, really entering into a place where you do feel at home and your soul feels comfortable and relaxed. And it's like, you know, that feeling of just, you know, I'm finally here. I'm finally where I'm supposed to be. So Gemini, that's a beautiful card. It really is, because to me it means the completion of, you know, some kind of cycle. That's the last card in that particular deck. So to me, that really is a huge affirmation and confirmation for a lot of Geminis out there that this, you know, very challenging journey of 2019 is really coming full circle. To me, that card almost feels like the World card, you know, in the tarot, where you've really completed a major cycle or come full circle in some way. Really, really interesting. So now I'm going to pull 4 cards from the spirit animal deck. We're going to see what your spirit animals are that are going to be coming up through this year. So I'm kind of meaning each one to correspond to the seasons of winter, spring, summer, fall. But of course, you can flip them around. Some of them may apply in different areas of the year for you, depending on who you are, because this is general. So let's ask the animal spirits for Gemini. Which one of you want to come forward to guide them through 2020? Oh my goodness. Wow. All right. So Gemini, look. The swan spirit, and look, just like with your swan spirit of the stillness card, they're even pointing the same way. They're even going the same direction. I will point out that the swan, you know, like in Druidic spirituality as well, is like it's a real connection to love and the soul. Music is very important, you know, to the swan energy. The swan actually has an ancient connection to the harp, which is the the symbol of Ireland. It's very important. So this is take time for a deep dive, and that one is the stillness. So Gemini, I think that really this is a powerful year of, you know, understanding your depths, understanding your deeper emotions and feelings, and really bringing some creative vision up to the surface. Because, you know, after you take that deep dive, you're going to come back to the surface and bring through, you know, whatever you gleaned from that, you know, from those depths. My goodness. So we're starting the year with a really beautiful energy of that swan. Then as the spring goes in, look at this. This is the wasp spirit. Sometimes life stings, right? So this is, to me, transmuting the energy of any kind of pain that you've been through. That could be, you know, what the deep dive is for. And you come back and you're like, wow, I know what I need to heal. To me, the wasp is also a very hard worker. They're always, you know, very, very strong. They're very determined. And it's your air element as well, because they are a flying creature. So then we get into the summertime, and the badger comes up. To me, is a very strong, very indomitable spirit. Very fearless, very brave, very bold, very, you know, just courageous. Nothing really bothers him. Nothing, you know, deters him from what he wants to do or where he wants to go. So that's very powerful. It's like you really, and look at he's a number 4, you know, and that's 2020 is a number 4 universal year. So this is about boundaries. It's about stability. And then look at this. We go to the bee spirit for the close-up of 2020. And it's interesting. I like how, you know, from spring we go to the wasp, which is a more painful aspect, right, of an insect energy, of a flying insect even. And so then we go to the bee by the end of the year, which is a much sweeter kind of energy. Sweet results await. The honeybee is about community as well. It's about working together in an organized effort to bring about sweet, beautiful results. So Gemini, I think this is a beautiful year. And look at this. I love this, okay? I always look at the synchronicities. So that nature card that we pulled at the beginning, which was the 7 and the 4. The badger is the 4. The bee is the 7. Ah, just gorgeous, okay? So guys, hope you're paying attention, because this is cool stuff. So now we're going to go into these astrological reading cards, and I'm going to pull from the zodiac section first. This is going to be about, you know, what sign is most important for you, whether it is in your personal chart, whether it is, you know, somebody that you will have in your life who's very important, that's one of, you know, from a member of this sign, or if it's just something that you're meant to embody about this particular sign's energy as we go through this year. Ooh, Gemini, look at that. I saw the Scorpio is going to be really important for you, because that is what all that Capricorn is activating. It has been for a little bit, you know, that's why 2019 was really intense. 2020, you're definitely still working with a lot of that. So Geminis, y'all are going deep. You are going so deep within the mysteries, the magic, the transformations, the regenerations, because Scorpio is like that phoenix from the ashes. This is transformative, beautiful energy. It's powerful. And it says this energy is intense, masterful, thoughtful, magnetically charming. Yeah, so all of that's coming to you. It's like that Scorpio kind of energy gives you a lot of power, Gemini. It gives you a lot of magnetism. So I would always say, you know, when Scorpio is in the mix, be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. Think of, you know, be careful of your thoughts, be careful of your, words and actions, because they will have a very karmic kind of cycle. So be sure, Gemini, to put out good things, because they will come back to you very, very strongly during this time. You also may have, some Scorpio people. You may be connecting with a Scorpio this year, or already connected with one, because you really desire that deeper level of communication, and that's what they can give you. So let's pull a card now from the planet cards. We're going to go into the next, it's 3 phases: the zodiac sign, the planet, and then the house. So let's look at the planet next, to see which planet is going to be the most important for you in 2020. Which one should you really, pay attention to the movements of? Maybe it's Mercury, but it could be another one too. There could be a secondary one that you want to look at as well. So let's see what's up for Gemini in the planets now. And it is Jupiter. Look at that. And Jupiter is in Capricorn. And so that puts that in your universal 8th house of Scorpio. So it's very, very beautiful. It's like you're really going to get the positive side of this. Jupiter's very expansive. It's very optimistic. It's very lucky. So Gemini, all of this transformative work, this powerful regeneration of your spirit, of your mind, of your body, all of this is happening on a really big level, and you're ready to use it to heal the rest of the world. Confidence, courage, self-belief, luck is on your side with Jupiter coming out. And now we're going to pull a card from the houses, and the houses are like the stage that the action happens on. So this is going to focus on, what area of your life is of most importance to, focus upon in 2020. Oh, all right, Gemini. So it's saying the 5th house is an important area for you. Now, the 5th house is the Leo realm, and Leo energy is very bright, it's very bold, it's optimistic, it's super creative, it's very fun. So, anything that goes through that universal 5th house for you is an important placement. So I'm trying to think. Let me just take a moment to see it in my mind. So Sagittarius, let's see, before that we got Scorpio, and then I believe Virgo. Is that your universal 4th house? Let's see. Because let's see, so Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and then Libra. Yeah, your universal 5th house is the Libra house, and so that really brings in an element as well of romance, relationships. Gemini, if you're single, because this is going to be general obviously, but if you're single, this really points to the potential of meeting somebody that's very bright, could even be a Leo or a Libra, but somebody that has just a more bright, positive outlook. That's very favored. So yeah, definitely that's a possibility. But yeah, I like what it says, creating things you're proud of. So, this is definitely a very creative year when that 5th house comes up, because it is about creation. It's about, taking the ideas, the thoughts, and putting them into something manifest. So we're going to move Mr. Dragon over, and we're going to get started on your tarot. We're going to go ahead and do, one card for each month. So each month of the year, we're going to be pulling 12 cards for each month, and then if I need to modify or clarify any of these, I'll be using the Rider-Waite to do that. So I can't wait. Let's see what comes up, Spirit. Let's come in for Gemini now. For 2020, we're going to pull a card for each month for them to give them an overview of what's happening for their year. Ooh, very powerful year indeed, Gemini. So the first month of this year, there is January. We start out with an Eight of Coins energy. So this is all about you working hard, being, patient, determined, not giving up. Those, New Year's resolutions may be very strong for you. And some of you may feel like, you know what? I've already been working on these resolutions. I haven't given up. I'm still going on these. So very, very powerful there. When we get into the month of February, look at that Ten of Swords. To me, this is a completion of a cycle. This is also the month that our first Mercury retrograde happens. So to me, this is always a full cycle culmination of a very challenging cycle that you've been through. It's your own energy. I can clarify that, but I think that that kind of speaks for itself. But we'll clarify that because that's an ouchy card, but it's a completion of the ouch. It's all that painful stuff coming full circle and you finally breaking free from it. And that has a lot to do with limiting thoughts. Self-defeatist feelings, or, stuff that you're saying to yourself or others are saying to yourself. That's what that has a lot to do with. Yeah, and you have the strength to overcome that, Gemini. Look at that with that number 8 from the Major Arcana. That is absolutely... that confirms it. You are absolutely moving through that. And then look at March. The Sun card is coming up for you. So this is the most positive card that you can pull. So March promises to be a pretty nice time. That is greater positivity, greater energy, just a more overall, stronger sense of, self-worth, greater self-esteem, greater confidence. It's the, Sun is ruled by Leo. The Leo is ruled by the Sun. So to me, like we had that 5th house card for you, that's all about Leo energy. And look, 7 of Coins sitting on top of that. You have worked for your positivity. You have worked for that positive outcome. It wasn't all by itself. You're going, yeah, if good things are happening, it's not because I just sat around and did nothing. It's because I was working for it. And you're also still in a little bit of a patience aspect with that 7 of Pentacles. It's like, there's still things that you're waiting for that are positive, that it's like I put those seeds in the ground and you're waiting for them to come up. So then we go into April and we get the King of Coins, the King of Pentacles. Very solid, grounded energy. This, to me, this is all earth signs represented, but it's very strongly Taurus to me. And so to me, yet again, like I said, there's a little bit of a Taurus connection going on for you there, Gemini. That King of Pentacles also shows me that for April, maybe some of you hopefully will be getting a good tax return. Some kind of abundance, some kind of mastery of that earth plane is coming through and you feel more solid, you feel more strong. Yeah, and it gives you a feeling of freedom because the Fool card is aspecting that. It gives you a greater feeling of a little bit more relaxation and release. So then getting into the month of May, there is that Knight of Wands because boom, you're feeling pretty good, you're moving pretty strong with that Fool card, and the Knight of Wands is very fiery, passionate, quick, intense moving energy. So it's like you're really ready to move forward. You're really ready to go somewhere new. So let's pull a clarifier for him. I'm just curious to see what comes up around that Knight of Wands, what you might be moving towards. Yeah, and you might have to put a little of that on hold, Gemini. You might have like a whole big list of things that you want to pursue, and there's that Hanged Man saying you've got to have a little balance. You got to be a little bit patient for that. So Gemini, just be aware that in May you might be really raring to go, but you may have to do just a little bit more waiting. I can see that this is a year that there's a lot of positivity, but there's also a lot of need for patience and timing to come into it. Let the universal timing really enter in. So the month of June, look at that. There's our Scorpio energy with that Death card, that deep transformation. So June promises to be a month of transformations, of regenerations, and rebirth. There it is. I'm not surprised at all that that card came up because it's a very strong, yeah, and look at that. This is beautiful. Oh, Gemini, what a great reading. Judgment is coming up on top of the Death card for you. And to me, Judgment is like a higher vibration of the Death card. It's like the death cycle and then the rebirth. So you literally have like death and rebirth. And for you, for Gemini, that month of June is a lot of y'all's birthdays. So when your solar returns are happening, woo, you're getting a lot of new energy. I love that. So let's go into July. July, the Six of Cups, the sweetness, the nostalgia, the sentimental memories. This can be a couple different things. Since this is general, you know, this to me is a potential reconciliation with somebody you've fallen out with. This is a potential for reconnecting with someone from your past, because this is a card. It's actually really the only card in the tarot that's very firmly about you know, the past, or reconciliation, or nostalgia. It also can have to do with childhood memories, so you could be connecting as well with somebody from your childhood. Then when we go into, let's see, June, July, August, then we've got the Nine of Wands. And so to me, this shows some struggle here. This shows that you've been fighting kind of a hard battle on something, Gemini. And so I'm going to pull a clarifier on that. But that's that August month. That's the Leo month. It's a lot of fire energy. Then it's, you know, the later part of August is also Virgo. So let's see what it is that you're going to be kind of recovering from, or what has you on the defense. What has Gemini feeling defensive? Ooh, something around stability. You've been fighting hard for this. And so this could actually be a feeling of frustration that if you haven't quite gotten to that 10 of Pentacles yet, Gemini, that you're feeling kind of like, when will it ever come? You're feeling kind of like, oh, there's just that one piece that I want to fall in. And it shows up in September as well. Look at that, Four of Cups, because there he is. He's got the 3, and the 3 are pretty darn good, but he's looking up in the clouds going, oh, if I only had that 4th cup. And isn't that human nature? Isn't that what we do? You know, we sit there and we go, oh, you know, I know things are, you know, they're pretty good, and I'm not unhappy with it, but if only that last cup, we always want that extra thing. So don't take what you have for granted, Gemini. Even if this is taking time, even if you're still working and you feel maybe even struggling, you know, for what it is that you want. Yeah, and look at that. Sun card comes up again, doubling up your sun energy. So to me, Gemini, this is really Spirit telling you, don't worry about what it is that you feel like you have to have for that last piece of your happiness, because if you focus on what's going good and you really pay attention to all that positivity that's coming in, woo, you know, you'll get it. Or you'll get something else and you won't even care about the other thing that had you worried. So then going into the month of October, we do have that Moon card coming up. This is very Pisces energy. This is Cancer. Interestingly enough, to me, again, this is a water energy. And, you know, that little lobster crawfish looking thing, he looks a little bit like a scorpion. A little bit, you know, the scorpion's got them claws. And this is going to go into that last retrograde of the year that's in Scorpio. So if you feel emotionally confused, be patient during the month of October, because that's quite normal for that energy. You know, wait for things to be revealed to you, because under that energy, you're not going to be feeling quite as mentally clear. That's for sure. Then in November, ba-boom, look at that. And November is our definite Scorpio time. We have got that Tower card. So to me, that is the hand of the divine reaching in, dismantling any old foundations that weren't working for you. So anything that you had at all, if you didn't clear it away in 2019 and you didn't clear it away throughout most of 2020, Spirit's going to come and really reorganize it, because that's absolutely imperative for your forward movement, Gemini. So why is this Tower here? I'm just going to ask, what is the purpose for Gemini for this Tower here for November 2020? Yeah, it's so that you can be restored to your rightful place of leadership. And there's that Leo energy again, Leo, Sag, Aries, you know, coming up to the surface. That Leo house is important for you. You cannot put yourself in a situation, Gemini, where you're not going to be feeling good about yourself, or your confidence, where your self-esteem and your value and your self-worth are not being elevated. And so look at the last card for 2020, for December. We've got the Hierophant. This is a beautiful card of deeper spiritual mysteries, commitments, solid growth. This is also Taurus energy. Yet again, Taurus is a very important sign for you this year. Gemini, I would say that, you know, if I was going to point out like Scorpio, Leo, Taurus, those are like the big signs coming through for me for 2020 for you. All those fixed signs, all them stubborn folks. And Gemini, you're a mutable sign. You're not as stubborn. Unless you have a whole lot of those cards, a lot of those signs in your chart, you're not nearly as stubborn as they are. And this, yeah, look at that. So the Hierophant, this is committing to getting yourself unstuck. Absolutely. Don't let yourself get stuck in a place where, you know, you don't have to be. And you do have the power, Gemini. Absolutely. You always have the power to get yourself out of a sticky situation. So let's pull an Affirmator card. I love this little deck of affirmations. Love the art. Bunny rabbit riding a unicorn. I've been pointing that out on every reading because I just think that's too adorable. So please bring through, let's get an affirmation for Gemini for 2020 for you to carry through with you through this year. Oh, look at that courage. And it's the little mouse. And, you know, standing there with his cape, you know, and there's that shadow that looks kind of scary. And he's like, no, I'm not going to let that scare me. So here's what it says for you. No one is fearless. No one. But even though I'm not fearless, I am courageous. When fear shows up, I don't run away from it. I use my courage to conquer it. My courage allows me to walk right up to that fear and kick it in the nuts. Then quickly hide behind someone bigger until it goes away. These are hilarious. Oh my gosh. So Gemini, but I love that because, you know, that strength card came up. The Leo energy is about using your courage, even if you're afraid. And that's what true courage is. It's you know, being willing to, you know, stand up to your fears and to deal with them even when you are afraid. That's the true essence of bravery. So Gemini, you are brave, you are strong, and this is a powerful year for you. So thank you so much again for joining, and have a beautiful 2020. I'll talk to you soon.